Hello everyone! This hour on Verbling. The next in my Getting Results in Business series, we're doing our unit on how to talk about job performance. And specifically, we'll be working on giving feedback in an appraisal. The key expressions you can use to be diplomatic, or the expressions you can use to appraise your own performance as well. We'll be reviewing those. Here are 3 quick rules to help you participate in my class. Don't forget to turn off, tune in, and open up, which means when you're not speaking, please, let me get my slide on the screen. There we go. When you're not speaking, please turn off your microphone so we can keep the classroom as quiet as possible. When you are speaking, tune into the new words that you're learning. Use them actively so that I can correct you. And finally, open up to your classmates. Just relax and have fun. We're all here to learn, and this is a safe and respectful place to practice your English. And that is a little bit about me. I want to know a little bit about you. First, let me just get my name on the screen. Give me a second here. I wish there was a faster way to do this. I always have to write this again. Okay, it looks like it's working now. So, let's see if it's working. In the last class, nothing was working right. Hey, there we go. So, let's see who we've got here. Welcome back, Hyde. Nice to see you. And Anton, I can see your smiling face for the first time. That's what you look like. Hello, Anton. Someone is brave enough to use a camera, finally. And Alessia. Hello. Nice to have you.
Hi, John.
So, here's our plan. In the last week, we worked on some key expressions to talk about appraising a job performance. I'm going to take that a step further today. I'm going to share my screen with you. This presentation I can give you the link to as well. But for now, let's just take a look on screen. So we've been talking about personal qualities, like being hardworking. There was a whole list of these in the beginning. Hardworking, dedicated, enthusiastic, things that you might use to appraise someone. Positive feedback, mostly. Then we worked on key expressions to talk about performance. Some of those were at the bottom of the last slide. I'll give you links to both of those in just a second. Today we're going to work specifically on giving feedback. We're going to do a short activity on giving feedback and then work on revising our narrative tenses to talk about the history of our job performance or the history of the person whose performance you are appraising. So we're going to start by doing a little listening. Listen to 2 versions of a conversation, and you have to sort of spot the differences. In order to do this, I have to open my material on my computer. 1 second. Give me just a second to get this open. So this is 64, okay. Okay, here we go. So remember, this is you're going to hear the first 64 and 65. You're going to hear, if you remember in the last week we had an appraisal with a guy named Chris, and we had to rewrite some of his self-appraisal at the end of class. So Chris had an appraisal. He was working in a factory basically, and they were trying to figure out what his interests were. Now Chris, that same guy in the factory, is talking to his supervisor. Listen to the first conversation. The supervisor says, "Hi Chris, you're doing really well." Chris, "Okay, thanks. I'm about halfway through." Supervisor, "And how are you getting on with the new type of shaft?" Chris, "Not bad. I had to adjust the machine a little, but they're fine." Supervisor, "Oh, that's great. You've done a good job." Chris, "Just one thing. I found a fault in one of the shafts." Supervisor, "Really?" Chris, "Look, just here." Supervisor, "This could be serious. I'd better send this over to R&D. Well done for spotting it. Chris, do you want me to continue? Supervisor, sure. Keep at it for the moment and I'll let you know what they say. So that is conversation one. Listen to the same conversation with the supervisor and Chris in a slightly different attitude than before. Here's conversation two. Supervisor, Chris, have you finished yet? Chris, I'm about halfway through. Supervisor, only halfway? Chris, well, I had to adjust the machines for this new type of shaft. Supervisor, oh, I see. Chris, sorry, but there's one other thing. I found a little fault in one of the shafts. Supervisor, where? Chris, look, it's just here. Supervisor, why didn't you tell me straight away? This is really serious. I better send it over to R&D. I can't believe you kept me waiting like this. Oh my God, it's the end of the world. Chris, do you want me to continue? Supervisor, no, stop. Don't touch anything. So, did you notice any differences between the two conversations?
No.
Speak freely. What would you say was the difference in the attitude of the supervisor between the first and second conversation?
The first conversation, Chris was a good worker.
Right.
And yeah.
Chris was a good worker, or his supervisor was saying he was a good worker? You mean the supervisor was giving him positive feedback?
The supervisor told that he was a good player, a good team player.
That's right.
And here, Chris, I think he make a disaster.
Maybe not. Maybe it wasn't his fault. But the point is he did notice something was wrong. That's absolutely right. So in the first case, the supervisor is giving him positive feedback. In the first case. Right. Let's see who else we have here. I have a new... Miguel. You know what? I never know what to call you, Miguel or Miguel.
Miguel, John. In Spain, Miguel.
Okay. Because it's written Miguel, and I've been calling you Miguel.
More brief.
Did you hear the two dialogues I was just reading, Miguel?
Yes,
or did you come in? Okay.
I hear a little. Do you have the link?
I do, but it's going to take me a minute to get it.
Okay.
So if you hang on a second, I'll give you the link. Okay. Here's my question. What was the supervisor's attitude in the second dialogue? Was he giving positive feedback as well?
No.
Very bad, because Chris had a job only half.
So, Chris didn't do anything differently in the two conversations. But the supervisor's attitude was different, wasn't it? Hyde, how would you describe the supervisor in the second dialogue?
Supervisor expected a lot to the Chris.
Exactly.
Then he asked him, but he said still half. So he was surprised, disappointed.
That's right. Basically, Chris said the same things in both dialogues. Oh, I found a little fault in one of the shafts, and should I continue? But the supervisor's attitude was totally different. So I don't think Chris did anything differently. I think the supervisor just looked at it differently. And he expected a lot. That's right. He had a lot of expectations. All right. So you're going to listen to the first version again, and I want you to pick out some of the key expressions that he's using. Listen a second time. And by the way, let me see if I can just quickly give you the link to this as well. Yeah, I can. Here we go. This is, in order to give you the link, I just need to open this. Okay, so this is going to take a second to open, so just follow along, then I'll give you the link. So, once again, he says, Listen to the first one again. Supervisor. Hi, Chris. You're doing really well. Chris. Okay, thanks. I'm about halfway through. Supervisor. And how are you getting on with the new type of shaft? Chris. Not bad. I had to adjust the machines a little, but they're fine. Supervisor. Oh, that's great. You've done a great job. Or you've done a good job. Chris. Oh, just one thing. I found a fault in one of the shafts. Supervisor. Really? Chris. Look, it's just there. Supervisor. Oh, this could be serious. I'd better send this over to R&D. Well done for spotting it. Chris. Do you want me to continue? Supervisor. Sure. Keep at it for the moment and I'll let you know what they say. Let's pick an expression each and see if we can fill in the missing words from the chart. Okay? So, oh, by the way, I think I got my presentation open on the computer. So, let me paste that link for you. So, Miguel, if you look in the chat window, in the verb link, whoops, that didn't work. Hold on. Let me try this again. Miguel, if you look in the verb link chat window.
Okay.
You see it? Okay. So you can download that or whatever. And we're on slide 4. So let's go around. Let's pick out one key expression. Anton, how would you finish the first expression?
Very well.
Okay. The first one, I guess you are doing really well.
I guess you're doing really well or very well. Hang on just a second here because for some reason my material is different than yours. I must be looking in the wrong place. Hold on a second. Anyway, you're right. Yeah, that's it. You're doing well, you're doing very well, something like that. Okay? And Hyde, what about the second one? What did you hear him say? That's...
Right.
That's... Say again? Sorry?
Right.
Well, that's right, but not for giving feedback on performance.
Okay.
That's good.
That's good. Absolutely. That's good. That's great. That's excellent. But the point is, that refers to the job that you're doing.
Yeah.
All right? And Alessia,
Yeah.
what would you say for number 3?
You have done great job.
A great job. You've done a great job. You've done a good job. Or any kind of adjective with job. That's it. And Miguel, number 4. To finish up, he gives another compliment. Something done.
But the 4 is the supervisor or the worker?
Say again?
The number 4.
Right.
Is a supervisor or the...
Oh, it's always the supervisor speaking. Always the supervisor.
Okay. Well, don't. I think it's you are...
No, number 4. No,
Yeah.
you. You're just missing the adjective in number 4. Something done.
something done.
So
Oh.
what's the adjective? Not something, but
The adjective. I don't remember, John.
uh-oh. Who's got this one? Who's got this one? Who's got number 4 for me?
Could I say just done or
Well done.
done?
Hyde has got it. Say it again, Hyde.
Well done.
Well done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right? So to finish off, he says, that was great, you spotted it, well done. In other words, it's kind of a polite way to end your feedback. Well done. Job well done. And Anton, what about number 5? What does he tell him at the very end? When the guy says, should I stop? The supervisor says, do what at it? In other words, a way to say, continue doing your great work. A simple way to say that. What do you think, Anton?
Sure.
What do you think, Anton?
I
A way to say continue.
Keep on.
uh,
Everyone's giving you the answer but you, Anton.
yeah. Go for it.
Go for it. Except that's not your choice because you have to say at it. Go for it would be
Mhm.
okay if it was for it, but here it's at it.
Yes.
I heard
then
someone say the right verb already. What's the missing verb? Not go at it, but what's the way to say
Should.
continue?
Keep on.
Should.
Keep, wait a second, not keep on, but keep at it. Keep
But
at it. So number 5 is keep at it. Let's do a quick review of all the expressions. Listen and repeat. Listen and repeat. You're doing well. Repeat.
Everybody,
Everyone. You're
Okay.
doing well.
you're doing well.
You are doing well.
Yes. That's great.
That's great.
That's great.
There you go. Number 3. You've done a good job.
You have done a good job.
You have done a good job.
Wow, I only hear 2 of you. What happened to the rest of you? Everyone, I want you to look in the mirror and say, number 4, well done.
Well done.
Well done.
Well
There you
done.
go. Very good. And number 5, look in the mirror, look at yourself and say, hey, keep at it.
Keep at it.
Keep at it.
Right. Everyone go to the
I'm
mirror.
seeing someone laughing at me.
If you're seeing someone laughing at you in the mirror, Ahmed, then you
Yeah.
might need to talk to someone about that, okay? No one should be laughing at you in the mirror. How many people do you see in the mirror?
Pardon?
How many people do you see in the mirror? I hope you just see one.
I see just one. I don't know.
And that person is laughing at you? Uh-oh.
right now, yes.
Uh-oh.
He's looking at me,
Okay.
staring.
Well, maybe he wants you to be happy. So we've got some good expressions here for feedback. You're doing well. That's great. You've done a good job. Well done. Keep at it. That's what we heard the supervisor say. And Chris sounded a little happier in the first extract, the first audio, than the second. Let's see. We've already listened to this. Listen to 2 different versions of Chris. What's the difference? Oh, this was a mistake. Sorry. You shouldn't see all those things. Number 3. That's it. Write 3 jobs you've recently completed. By the way, I can't read what's on screen. Write 3 jobs you have completed recently. Work with a partner, that's us. Take turns to give feedback to your partner on their jobs using the phrases in 2. Well, all you have to do here is think about something that you've really done. I don't want you to think too much about this. Okay, it can be really any kind of a job. It can be simple things. For example, fix the computer, painted the house, make coffee for everyone. But what I want us to do is go around in a circle and just use some of these key expressions. And if you have another one you want to add, we can add it to the list. But you've got 5 good ones. For example, geez, what did I do? Did I complete anything recently? Hey, yeah, I did. I researched job opportunities. I got done this weekend researching new job opportunities and master's programs. That's what I did. Someone give me a compliment. Ahmed, give me a compliment.
Well done.
Oh, thanks. Very good. What did you do, Ahmed?
Well, I have learned how to make spring rolls.
Oh, Alessia, what would you say to that?
Sorry, I don't heard what. I don't understand who are speaking.
Oh, so you're responding to Ahmed. Ahmed, tell her what you accomplished this weekend.
Well, I have made spring rolls.
Yum.
It's kind of food.
Yum, yum, yum.
Okay. Well done. Could
Thank
I
you.
taste it?
Of course. Yes.
Fantastic. Alessia, what did you accomplish in the last few days?
Nothing. But I have just finished my cake, to cook my cake.
Your cake?
Yeah.
You mean
I'm,
you've
I'm
been
a
making the
great
cake?
cooker, if you don't know. It's
I'm a,
like,
I'm a, I'm a, wait, I'm a great chef.
yeah,
Great.
I'm a great chef.
She just finished her cake, Anton. What would you say to that?
I have to give me an answer.
Anton is going to give you an answer. Right, Anton? Anton?
He's muted.
Anton, unmute yourself. Oh, I'm so disappointed.
Is he embarrassed or something? Shy.
Maybe he doesn't, maybe he's not proud of your cake, Alessia. I don't know.
Oh, is
Maybe my cake have a sleeping pill inside.
Maybe. Hyde, what would you say to Alessia? Okay. Hyde? No Hyde either?
Pardon?
Oh, what would you say to Alessia? Alessia just finished making a cake. What would you say to her?
It's
Using
good.
one of those key expressions.
It's good.
It's good or that's good?
That's good.
That's good. Absolutely. And you could follow it up with anything you wanted to say. Like,
Not bad.
but, okay.
Not bad.
You could say, that's good. Can I have a slice? I don't know. Hyde, tell us something that you've recently completed.
A season is changing. I changed winter jacket, coat, a lot of things. Then I pulled out summer jacket or T-shirt, a lot of things. It was a tired job.
So it sounds like you're doing some spring cleaning and arranging things. Is that right?
Yeah.
A little bit of spring cleaning. Miguel, what? Sorry, go
Kind
ahead.
of storage work.
Yeah, we call that spring cleaning. All that stuff. You put away the winter clothes and bring out the summer clothes.
Yeah.
Miguel, that was a lot of work. What would you say to Hyde, Miguel, using one of those key expressions?
That's so marvelous. Marvelous.
That does sound marvelous.
That's so marvelous.
Wow, very good. And what have you completed recently, Miguel?
A question, yes. I have just finished my work task at home. Task work at home is correct?
I don't know what you. I didn't hear the first
Well,
part. You just finished.
I finished cleaning my house. What is the
Ah.
one? I have just finished cleaning my house.
Well, it sounds like you've done a very good job. Here's my feedback for you. It sounds like you've done a very good job. Was it very strenuous? Was it difficult?
No, no difficult.
Was it strenuous?
No,
You didn't hurt yourself, did you?
No, another thing. I have just finished my homework.
What about your CV and cover letter? You finished that.
Sorry,
That was a
John?
lot of work.
Yes.
Your CV, you were working on that.
Yes. I have
That was a
just
lot of work.
finished my homework to finish my CV, my cover letter, my resume.
There you go. And I would have to say, well, you've done a good job, a job well done. These are some of our key expressions. I just want you to have a little practice getting these words out of your mouth, so it's a little bit easier to remember Whoa, wait a second. We're already moving on. Oh my God. Okay, well, hold that thought for a minute. In the second half of class, we're going to come back to the feedback a little bit later. In the second half of class, starting now, I want to pick out one other thing that we need, one of the skill we need when talking about an appraisal, talking about our work, using the past continuous in the narrative tenses. So it's just kind of important because the past is handled in a different way in different languages. For example, in a Latin language, you have a verb tense called the imperfecto or the imparfait, or whatever it's called in Spanish, imperfecto, I guess. But in English, we don't have that tense, and we have to cover for it by using the past continuous or a conditional, like I was doing or I would do. So it takes a little bit of practice sometimes to know the difference between those forms. We also have the past perfect. That's the I had done form. So what I want you to do is first recognize the tenses, and then I'm going to give you a little bit of a practice using them. Then we can put all of these skills together at the very end. So read the extract from an employer's appraisal. Decide if the statements, 1 to 3, are true or false. Let's see, how many statements do I have here? Did I do this wrong? Just give me a second here. No, okay, fine. I think we need to see the whole thing on screen. Okay. So, why don't you read this for us? Anton, let me have you read the appraiser. Okay. And Alessia, why don't you read the employee, and we'll go through this quickly. Go ahead, Anton. Read the appraiser for us.
I know there had been a few problems at the order factory before you moved here, but in the last month I received lots of good reports about all your hard work.
Good, that's nice to hear. I was finding it a little difficult when I first come to work here.
When I first come?
To work here.
Come?
Came.
Look again. Came.
Yeah.
Right. Came.
To work here. Come is the past.
No. Come is the present. Came is the past.
Is the past. Come is the present. Sorry.
Exactly.
So I have to choose the sentences, 1, 2, or 3.
Well, we're going to do this together as a class. We're going to do it together. So, the employee had problems after he moved to his current factory. Hide, true or false?
The first is
what do you think?
False.
Wait. Hide, true or false? What do you think?
Sorry. Hide.
False.
Because? I agree. You're right. Because?
It's written before I moved.
Before I moved. Right. I want you to refer to the text. Exactly right. Before I moved. Ahmed, the employees found it difficult for a period of time. True or false?
Yes, it is true.
Because?
Because he said I was finding it all a little difficult when I first came.
I was finding it. Right. So that's a period of time in the past. I was finding it. Very good. And Miguel, the employee doesn't have any difficulties now. True or false?
I think is.
Go back to the text and find the reference in the text.
I think it's true.
It is true, but how can we be sure? Give me the reference from the text. What does he say? What's the key word to tell you that he doesn't have difficulties now, but he had difficulties then? What's the key word?
Yes, the key word is I know.
Look for the time reference. What does the employee say that shows the time?
One moment. Déjame I don't know.
If you're not sure,
I
sorry?
don't. No, I don't find the word express.
Not true.
It is true. That's true.
No,
Hyde.
not true. Not true.
Oh,
Because
not true?
yes, I was finding past, right? I was finding it all a little difficult when I first came to work here. So this sentence, the employee doesn't have any difficulty now. Oh, okay, it's true.
It is true.
Doesn't have no, because it was at the first, no?
Exactly. I think the time reference here is when I first came. First came. That's the time reference. When is the time word? When. And first shows that it happened at that time. So it's implied, it's implicit that the problems are confined to that beginning period. It doesn't say I don't have any problems now, but it's implicit. When I first came to work here.
At the first, no?
Exactly. Sorry? I think the time reference here is. Uh-oh, what's going on here? I'm hearing a big echo. First came. That's the time reference. The echo? Everyone's got to mute. Word when and first. Everyone's got to put your mic on mute because I can't see who's giving me the echo. Was that Alessia?
Sorry, because I have missed you and I can hear nothing.
Ah, can you hear now?
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
And
Make sure that the verbling window is closed, just the Hangout, because otherwise we get a big echo. So just to summarize, it's false, true, true, and the references were the ones that you said. The last one is a little more difficult, but remember, time words can begin with when. The time clause can begin with when, right? And the reference I was looking for was first, to show you that it happened in the beginning, not now. Okay? So it's implicit that it's not now. There's no problems now, even though it's not stated. But it's very obvious from the context. Now, what I'd like you to do is to match the tenses. Okay? Alessia.
Yeah.
I want you to read the first definition and tell me which sentence, A, B, or C, is the right match.
Okay. To talk about something in progress at particular time in the past.
Something in progress.
In progress.
Right.
At a particular time in the past.
That's right. So in Italian, this would be the imperfecto, but in English, it's not, because we don't have that.
I knew about the meeting because I had received the mail.
Is not correct.
Is not correct. So if it's not spaghetti or soup, most people were working quietly in the office.
Is not correct.
Oh my. So it's B.
It's B. It's B. Now, why was it B? B is correct, but why? What were you? Sorry, go ahead.
Because he speak about past time, and here we use past continuous.
Is it one particular moment in the past, or is it a period of time in the past in B?
It's
this is yesterday.
Period. When you use past continuous, you
right. So
about a period.
So here it means all morning. Yesterday morning for the whole period. It means yesterday morning for the whole period. Okay?
Okay.
So that's a little different than C, but we'll see the difference in just a second. Okay? So Hyde, I would like you to read number 2 and see if you can match that one for us.
Yeah, I don't see that. Sorry.
To say that one event happened before another completed past event. So, B, what were you working? No.
Are you sure?
No, A.
No. A.
I knew about the meeting because I had received the email.
Exactly. So whenever you have had, right? Whenever that's your auxiliary verb, it's always referring to the past before another past. It's like the deep past. So it's always two events in the past, one happening before. Always, 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 always. It never changes. So that is exactly right. Well, that leaves us with only one answer. So the last one is pretty easy. So Miguel, why don't you read that one for us? You already know the answer, of course. So read number 3 for us, and then read the sentence.
To give background, to give background information in the past.
Mm-hmm.
This to give background information in the past, I think is
Well, we know the answer. There's only one left. It's got to be C, because we did A and B, right? So read C for us.
to give.
Huh?
What
Keep
read?
going. Read C for us. Read C for us. Read letter C.
So, okay, most people were working quickly in the office.
Huh? Quietly? Uh-oh. Read that again. Not quietly. Read again.
Most people were working quietly in the office.
Yeah. Quietly. Right.
Quietly.
Quietly is correct.
Thanks.
That's right. That's right. So, look at the difference between B and C. What were you working on yesterday morning is a period of time. Most people were working quietly in the office is a description of an action. They're a little different. This is really obvious if you speak a Latin language, like Portuguese, French, Italian, Spanish, etc., because in those languages you have the imperfect, and it's really used to describe actions in the past. In English, we don't have this, so we have to use the past continuous for more than one thing. We have to use it for repeated actions, for periods of time, and for describing background actions. So C is a background action in the past. What were you doing yesterday morning? Oh, I was working on my presentation. But most people were working quietly in the office. So it's a way to describe actions in the background. Okay, I know that's a little bit abstract, so we have to actually practice this by speaking, and then it'll be a little bit more clear. Which sentences in 2, the exercise 2, use the past perfect and which use the past continuous? So this should be pretty easy. Anton, tell me a sentence in the past perfect. Let's see if you can recognize the verb tense.
Every phrase I want.
No. I'm just saying which sentence, A, B, C, D,
A,
which of those
A,
is
A.
the past perfect? A, of course. That's right. So the form is had, and the past participle had gone, had received, had spoken. Was, working, were working, etc. are the past continuous. So it's the verb to be and the present participle. Working is what we call the present participle because it has ing. Received with ed is the past participle because it has ed. The past participle is often irregular, like speak, spoke, spoken. There it's irregular. So that's what you have to memorize. You don't need to memorize the present participle because it's never irregular. It's always ing. But you do need to memorize the past participle in the irregular verbs, like be, was, been, go, went, gone, speak, spoke, spoken, etc. But by now, all of you know it pretty well, so we don't have to waste a lot of time. Just be aware of the names. Past participle, present participle. Those are the word forms, and the tenses, past perfect and past continuous. Okay, 2 people, Helena and Matthias, are describing some feedback they received. Listen, and for each of them say what feedback they received what they thought their appraisals, why they thought their appraisals weren't fair, and what happened after their appraisals. So listen carefully. Give me just a second to open this on my computer. 1 second. 1 moment. This is 66. Okay. 65 and 66. Okay. You're going to listen to, you're going to listen to 2 different people. Helena is first, Matthias is second. So listen carefully for the gist. The gist is the general idea. Helena says, I was working for a large food company which didn't employ many women. At my performance appraisal, at my first performance appraisal, the production manager told me that if I didn't work as part of a team, I'd never get on in the company. It was terrible to hear this because I had already discussed with him how difficult it was to be the only woman. Anyway, as it turned out, he was wrong because 6 months later, I was transferred to another subsidiary, and 6 months after that, I was running the factory. Now listen to Matthias. One reason I left my last company was because of a performance review I'd had with our HR manager. We were talking about the usual things, but during all of this, he answered the phone twice and even replied to an email. This annoyed me because I had prepared very thoroughly for this appraisal. At the end, he handed me a typed review and asked me to sign it. I asked if I could take it out of the office to read it, and he said no. Anyway, I quickly read it, and it didn't match our discussion. One thing was that he'd said I was doing really well, but the review said I would only get a 3% raise. Some weeks later, I heard that he got fired, but I'd already left by then. So let's go back to our questions. What about Helena? What feedback did she receive? If you had to sum it up for us. Hyde, why don't you start us off? What feedback did Helena receive? If you had to summarize it for us.
It was very bad. The boss said, you didn't work enough.
Mm-hmm.
It's terrible feedback.
It is terrible feedback. And there was one specific thing that the boss said. Not just that you didn't work enough, but there was one quality she seemed to be missing. Did anyone catch it?
Yes, she was supposed to work in a team, part of a team, yeah.
She must work as part of a team, exactly. What about Matthias? What was his feedback? Let's see. So, Alessia, what did you hear about Matthias? What was his feedback? It wasn't as bad as Helena's, was it?
I don't remember. Maybe I don't understand what's the feedback for Matthias.
Okay. All right. Who got Matthias's feedback?
I'm not sure as well. I can say something about it. It was something about like how to say? I don't know. It was something like meeting or something, and he replied. He answered the phone twice. And,
that's right. During the appraisal, the supervisor, not the supervisor, the HR manager wasn't paying attention. He was answering the phone and stuff.
Yeah, and she said, although he said you were doing very well, but she got just like 3% promotion.
Right. So
I'm not sure. Yeah.
That's it. So the feedback was that he was doing well. He actually got good feedback, but it wasn't as good as he would have liked because the guy wasn't, the HR manager wasn't really paying attention. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. It might be a good idea. Let's see. I think we have time. Yes. Let's listen a second time. So you already know the feedback in general. Listen a second time for the details now. You're going to listen to why they thought they were being unfairly appraised and what happened afterwards. Listen a second time. Here we go. Helena, I was working for a large food company which didn't employ many women. In my first performance appraisal, the production manager told me that if I didn't work as part of a team, I'd never get on in the company. It was terrible to hear this because I had already discussed with him how difficult it was to be the only woman. Anyway, as it turned out, he was wrong because 6 months later I was transferred to another subsidiary, and 6 months after that I was running the factory. Mateus. One reason I left my last company was because of a performance review I'd had with our HR manager. We were talking about the usual things, but during all of this, he answered the phone twice and even replied to an email. This annoyed me because I had prepared very thoroughly for this appraisal. Then, at the end, he handed me a typed review and asked me to sign it. I asked if I could take it out of the office to read it, and he said no. Anyway, I quickly read it, and it didn't match our discussion. One thing was that he'd said I was doing really well, but the review said I would only get a 3% raise. Some weeks later, I heard that he got fired, but I'd already left by then. Okay, let's go back to the last two questions. Why did they think their appraisals were unfair? You could talk about Helena, Mateus, or both of them. Okay, so Miguel, let's start with you. Why did they think their appraisals were unfair? Could you pick out one or both?
One of the for Matthias or for Helena? For
As
Matthias.
you like.
I think for Helena is the only woman in the factory.
Yeah, that's right. She was the only woman in the factory, so why was her appraisal unfair, according to her?
I don't know exactly.
Well, that's the right idea. She's the only woman in the factory, so, and her appraisal, remember, we already established that the problem was the appraiser said that she has to be more of a team player, right? We already established that. So why did she feel that that was unfair, being told to be more of a team player? What does being the only woman in the factory have to do with an unfair comment about being a team player? What do you think? If you're not sure, we can ask the rest of the group.
I ask help.
Give him some help. Give him some help. Come on, guys, give him some help.
Perhaps he has to go to a subsidiary of the principal to understand or learn the main work.
Well, not exactly. Not exactly. It's true she went to a subsidiary afterwards, that's true. But she ended up running the factory.
Factory.
Yeah.
6
Right.
months later. 6 months later, she moved to other country. Place.
That's right.
Additionally, 6 months later, she opened her factory.
Okay, so Hyde, why do you think it was an unfair comment? Why does Helena think it was unfair to be told that she must be more of a team player?
Because she moved to other place, then she had a good job, and finally she was running a factory by herself.
Exactly. All she had to do was change locations, and suddenly she was rewarded for her effort. In the first place she was working, she wasn't really being recognized for her efforts. So it's something it's a little bit implied. It's not stated clearly, but that's what you could surmise. That's what you could guess from what happened. The moment she left that location, boom, she's rewarded for her work and she ends up running the factory. Miguel, does that make sense? Is that clear?
Yes, it's clear. But I don't remember exactly the explain explain Heidi. I don't remember exactly the words
Mhm.
used.
So basically, the fact that she ended up running the factory in the subsidiary shows that she was probably being discriminated against in the first place. So she had to leave before she was recognized for her effort. That's what the comment meant about being the only woman, right? So it's probably because she was a woman that she wasn't treated fairly in the workplace. Or at least the appraisal wasn't fair. It was harder for her. She wasn't being taken seriously. That's what we can guess. Okay, what about Mateus? What do you think, Alessia? Why was Mateus's appraisal unfair?
Hmm. I think to be in a black hole in this moment. I don't remember.
Well, think about this. What happened after the appraisal with Mateus? Do you remember what happened?
No,
Did he stay at the company?
don't remember. Sorry.
Okay. Someone help her out. What
No.
happened to Mateus afterwards?
Well, she said I heard that I don't know. Her boss probably was sacked or something like that. But she said about herself, I've already left.
Her or himself? You mean
Uh,
Mateus or Helena?
No, I mean Mateus.
Mateus, his boss.
Uh,
His boss.
I don't know. Mateus is name of a man or woman. Sorry,
Name of a man.
a man. Sorry, I thought a woman. Well, yes, his boss. I don't know. Like he lost his job or something like that.
Exactly. His
Yeah,
boss lost his job. That's right.
yeah. But
So we already have the idea that the guy wasn't super fair.
yeah.
And what do you think? What do you think Mateus was? Mateus didn't get a bad appraisal. So what do you think the unfairness was?
Because he was doing he was prepared very well for the
Right.
appraisal, but unfortunately his boss didn't pay any attention.
Basically, that's it. He was prepared, but his supervisor wasn't. Right? He was prepared, but his supervisor wasn't. Okay. So when you're listening to this, two things can help you. One, some of the key words to get the general idea, and second, the verb tenses to know what happened when. So some of this, if you're following the verb tenses, it'll be a little more clear. For example, Helena, let me see if I can even say the exact thing that she says. I don't have the text.
I'm good. How are you?
Huh? What was that?
Sorry.
Oh.
Parrot probably.
Oh. Maybe it was an exotic cockatoo. Do you have an exotic bird in your room? Maybe not.
Okay.
Okay, anyway. She said, I was running the factory 6 months after that. So she's referring to a period of time that happened later. So that's one way that it could help you. Also, there was another one with Mateus. I heard he had got fired. Had got past perfect. So it implies that he was fired before. I'm sorry, he was fired after he had already left the company. Right? So following the verb tenses gives you a clearer picture of what happened when, so you can figure out cause and effect a little easier. So some of this is you have to sort of read between the lines. Let me just see. We're at the end of the hour. I'll tell you what. I've got another class starting right now, unfortunately, at another school. I've got to stop. What I can do is give you this as a little homework if you'd like to try it on your own, and we can go over it together in the next class. I can give you the link in the chat window and also in the verb link in the message service. So I want you to try this on your own by completing the verb tenses from today's class, okay? And in the next class, we're going to do the speaking part, and we have a final case study at the very end where we're going to put together all the vocabulary and the key expressions that we've learned, okay? So you're going to try slide 11 the verb tenses as a little homework on your own, and we'll go over it tomorrow at the same hour, 11 GMT. Questions or comments? Send me through Verbling. And before I go, I want to just have a word with Miguel about our project. So, Miguel, are you going to be? I've got to teach a class for an hour, but are you going to be free in about an hour from now, or are you going to be working?
Yeah, you have 3 hours tomorrow, John. I reserved for tomorrow, okay?
Okay. At what time? At 10 o'clock?
No, you have free at 10 o'clock. Yes, 10 o'clock is good for me. Is good for
Okay.
you?
Yes, it's fine. Yes, no problem.
Okay.
So you're going to reserve for then?
Yes, I reserve. No, I reserve now. Okay.
Okay. Because I still have to send you material. So I will do that in about an hour when I'm done teaching. Okay?
Okay. Good.
Okay. All right. That's it for now, everyone. I'll be back tomorrow at 11 GMT and 12 GMT. There's a short story class first, and then the next business class. Bye for now, everyone. See you soon.
Okay. See you soon tomorrow.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.